What's going on, guys? So today we have a mid-tower PC case that's big on features and light on the budget, but we're going to find out if it's actually worth your money. What's going on, guys? Juan from BlueprintPC here. So today we've got a budget-friendly PC case to look at. It's not the newest case out there, but it's still budget-friendly and it does hold up to a lot of modern standards. It's the Fractal Design Focus G. Right there. Fractal Design Focus G. It's a mid-tower case, comes in 5 different colors: white, black, gunmetal gray, mystic red, petrol blue. We have the petrol blue today. It's the color I chose. I wanted it. I thought it was a little different, a little outside the norm of the basic color cases we're seeing nowadays, which is either white, black, or gray in between somewhere. So let's go ahead. Let's get this guy out of the box. We're gonna take a look at it. And just before I forget, the average price is about 50 bucks. So don't pay too much more than that. Maybe like 60 at max. Alright guys, so let's take the side panel off here. Note to self, hold this way. Mind you, this is the acrylic, not tempered glass, but this does just kind of rest in here. Let's get this side panel off. Woo! Thread these out, and it comes right off. Real neat feature of these is these are actually encapsulated screws, so I mean you can rip them out, but they don't naturally just fall out, so you don't have to worry about losing those, which is nice. So, and again, this is the acrylic. So inside here you have your basic stuff. I'm gonna get some close-ups on this here too. You got your front I/O cables that are twisty tied here to the back railing, and it looks like you got some hardware stuff in the back there. I'm actually gonna pull these trays out real fast just so I can get into this. So, well, I'm gonna guess we have zip ties considering they're hanging out of the box here. Woo! What is all this? Alright, yeah. So this is all your hardware. Your screws, standoffs, and then they give you a couple zip ties. Neat little box, not the greatest storage, I guess you'd say, how they just kind of threw them in there, but hey, it works. So let's kind of start off here with the hard drive tray since we had to pull those out anyway. Nothing too fancy, simple little ones that just kind of pop in there. These are either rubberized, and they're supposed to be anti-vibration hard drive bays. And there's 2 of them, and this is removable too, just so you guys know. And that's kind of dependent on the fan layout, and this does have water cooling support, which I'll break into more later. But this is removable. It looks like it's threaded in the bottom here, so we'll flip it out there. But 2 hard drive bays here. It actually has, and this where it kind of goes to the fact that it's an older case design, is it's got your 5 1/4 bays here, which you get access to your front right here, which most people don't use those anymore. I'm actually probably going to use them at some point in time with this build because I actually want to be able to burn some stuff down onto a disk just to save it for, you know, security reasons, storage reasons, things of that nature. It doesn't. Yeah, actually, no. This is removable too. It looks like it might. Well, it's riveted into place, but if you want to cut the rivets out, it looks like you can actually pull this out if you wanted to. It does, however, not look like it'd be easy to set another fan up in place. It looks like a 120mm fan should fit up there if you really wanted to force it in there, but it is what it is. It's your call. So if you pull these out, you could always get the adapters to put hard drives up here if you wanted to open up this bottom here, which again, power supply is going to go here. Your hard drive bays, if you pull these out, that actually opens up another fan mount for you guys. So keep that in mind here. In the top here, we actually have, ooh, almost dropped the case. Ventilation up top here. This is filtered if you want to have it pull air in. This will fit 120s or 140s. Same with the front here. These front 2 fans that come with it are their LL series silent 120mm fans, you can fit two 140s up here and two 140s up here. So either or, whichever you decide, will work. On the inside, it's pretty standard. You got 7 PCIe slots, so good for a full size. Again, you can do ITX, micro ATX, and full ATX inside this case. So whichever board you want to use, you can, which is nice because this is a pretty compact case, and you're still to get everything you want in it. The one thing I will say right off the bat that I don't like is there is no power supply basement. I do have a plan for that, which we're going to do in another video, but we'll get to that later. So let's swing to the back, get all the boring stuff out of the way. You do have PCIe slots, rear I/O, rear fan mount. This is limited to a 120mm fan. Again, this is a budget case, and you can kind of tell from the materials that it's a budget case. But I mean, it's sturdy, it's strong, it's actually really nicely made for a budget case. But you can tell this versus like a $200 case where you're going to have just more robust features, and they tend to hide more of these like rivets and stuff here, where like these, they're kind of obvious open. Now, mind you, they do contrast the colors, so it does look fitting, it does look suitable. You know, it's not going to hurt your eyes by any means. And then your power supply rear mounting doesn't have like the extra bracket that comes in, so you can just slide the power supply in and make life a little bit easier. So let's pull off actually this back panel now too. I don't know if these are encapsulated. I do know that they're on there pretty tight. Let's do the. I think they're encapsulated. Okay. And gonna make my fingers bleed. I love how they always decide to make those super tight. Alright, so aluminum, thin steel, whatever it may be. I'm going to place that on the other one. Hopefully not scratch that, because that would be stupid if I did. Alright, so here's your rear side. Now I will state, because it does vary, you get 18mm to 25mm, I believe what they say is for cable management space. I do wish there was more here to help kind of block that when you are doing your cable management. You do have room to run stuff down here. These are all nice and smooth edges, so you don't have to worry about catching cables here. They're not going to cut your fingers, so they're not going to cut a cable. I don't recommend doing what I just did on random other cases, because you're probably going to find one, you go, oh, it's dull, and then slice your finger open. So don't do what I just did. You do have SSD mounts right there, so you do have one 2.5-inch SSD mount right there. I'm sure if you got creative with some double-sided tape or some Velcro tape, you could probably put some here, maybe, possibly, or even right here. This is actually really surprising. That's like prime real estate to put an SSD right there, and you probably could. There's holes there. You could probably make it work, but even their website doesn't list that, so keep that in mind if you do need to put a lot of stuff in there. Got your fan cables. These are 3-pin fan headers. So yeah, okay, so far so good. And again, it does give you a fair amount, because I'm able to get my fingers down in here. So you do have a bit of room for cable management, tucking stuff. And I do like that they do give you this nice big space up here just to be able to route cables through the top. And for a budget case, again, that's such a nice feature, because when I did the DIY PC build, I fought that so much for cable management, and there wasn't a lot of options there, and it wasn't bad because it came out nice, again, for the price at least. But trying to find places to run cables and that was very cramped, even with a micro ATX board. But you got spots here, and well, let's get back to the front. Alright, so front I/O, we're going to go ahead, you got your power button, reset button, your little indicator light for your hard drive, let you know it's turning on and it's doing things and it's actually trying to work. So got that right there. Headphones, microphone jack, USB 2.0, USB 3.0. So not a lot for the front I/O. So most of your inputs and outputs is going to be reliant on your motherboard. So keep that in mind when you are deciding on what motherboard to get. So let's go ahead. There's a grip spot underneath here, and that actually came off really nice and easy. So this is the back of your front panel here. And I know you can take this filter out, because if you ever watched Gamers Nexus's videos, they do talk about doubling up mesh and it being bad for airflow, which I'm going to test that once we get this system built, because spoiler alert, this is going to be used in a build, and it's actually involving some of the components we talked about. Like I said, I had plans to get this done a while ago, but hey, life sucks and it sometimes stops you. So we're going to go ahead though. This will be used in the build. And yeah, so I will evaluate this a little bit closer here. It does look like some of this can be taken out, but it's a pretty nice material though. So I will say that this is actually built nice. It's built pretty solid. And this actually has the cutout here for your I/O up top. So your I/O stays on board. And there's actually 2 little screws right here. So you could actually probably do some nice customization in this case if you wanted to do like a themed build or something along that. Alright, so again, these are they're pretty basic fans. This is like that kind of almost brittle feeling hard plastic. I'm sure, you know, everybody's seen this before. These are just 120 millimeters. They are white LEDs, so they're not colored. And they will fit 140s. And if you can see here, you probably should put 140s because there's all this space right here. All this space can be utilized for airflow. So I'll test this case here with the 120s that are in it, but I promise you it's going to get 140s in it. So, because that's just unacceptable to me. All that lost potential airflow is just not a good thing. But again, these are included with this for the $50. So if you wanted to, you could spend, you know, if you're going Corsair fans, you can get, you know, $100 worth of fans added to this. But this comes with 2 fans, and I did wish it came with an exhaust fan, but you could always take one of these and remount it to the rear, depending on what you need for your personal use case. So like up here, like I said, it doesn't look like it's really feasible to actually mount another fan above it. There's holes here for the 140s, but I don't think you're going to get another 120 up there, so I think 140s would be the way to go up front here. And so like I mentioned earlier, this does have water cooling support. It's not bad. Again, for being budget friendly, it's got something. So when we switch back around to the side here, you'd actually mount a 240 rad right here and have, you might be able to get a 280. I think that would be pushing it, to be 110% honest. 240 is probably the better option. And then the problem is you will get it pressed up against here, which that's why this is removable. So you actually have more radiator support options. You might be able to swing, putting the radiator on this side, fans on this side, and doing a sandwich. Or you could do a push-pull if you move this. So if you only need one main, like actual like RPM hard drive, spinning drive, you could put it up here, still have a, you know, a drive bay, like a Blu-ray player or whatever it may be, here with your hard drives. So that's the general overall view of this thing. The couple things that I want to make sure I mention that I didn't mention before is you've got some massive GPU support here. They say up to a 380 millimeter GPU that can fit in this case. Now, mind you, some of that can be affected depending on how you do your water cooling, if you do water cool at all. So keep that in mind. So see, there's, you can see a little bit of that. Let me just pull this. You can see where that's some of your quality there you get for the $50 mark. But again, once your build's assembled, you're never going to notice that again. You're not going to be sitting there going, oh, yeah, I can hear that 60 frames a second, but I can feel this. No, you're not going to do that. You're never going to notice that. That's one of those things you're only going to notice during the build. So as of right now, don't even stress about that. All right, guys, so we've gotten the main chamber taken care of. Let's talk about the bottom now. So one thing I'll give them some definite credit for is you get some nice little feet on here. They're nothing too special here. These pop in, they're not even threaded, but they do the job. They get you some height off the ground, so that way if you do have to set this on the floor, you're not just ingesting carpet right into this if you do the lower intakes. But you do have a filter, oh, and there's some foam. You do have this lower filter on here, which is actually fairly decent. And this is for your power supply, which would hopefully breathe in air through here. And if you did the lower fan here. So, okay, so yeah, let's look at this now. We see it. It looks like there should be 140 mounts. Yep. And then one, maybe not 120 mounts. 120, 140. Yep, so there's 120 and 140 mounts there, so you can do it. That, I think, would just dictate a little bit more on how big your power supply is versus the fans themselves. So let me go ahead and see if I can manage to get this back in here without fiddling it too much. Wow, look at that. It's almost like magic or something. That's literally the first time I've done that, like, period. I'm actually surprised it went too well, like that well, because the one on my H500, like I'm just monkey blanking a coconut the whole time. So the cons that I want to acknowledge: one, it doesn't come with a lot of fans, so I'm a little disappointed about that. You don't get a power supply basement. I like that. It's just an aesthetic thing, especially if you're not using a modular power supply. It allows you to hide so much more there. I will say they do give a nice ample space to run cables through on this side here. Like I said, I do have a fix coming up for that. We're going to do that in a separate video here that I'll show you guys, but that'll be a little bit down the road there. Outside of that, it's pretty good. I mean, again, don't get a lot of fans, don't get a power supply basement, and your front I/O, again, is a little limited as to what it offers, so it's mostly be dependent on your motherboard for connectivity support. So, but you know, overall, I think it's worth the 50 bucks. You definitely have to put some money into it, but it's a great point to start from that you can work up to and then make it your own. Or if you're just looking for almost considered what should be a bare bones chassis to build, this is a great one right here. Because if you're like, hey, I don't want to spend extra money on a case that has all these fans that I'm going to swap out anyway, well, here you go. You got plenty of filter support. You got plenty of options. You got a total of 6 positions for fans. You got 2 here, 2 here, your exhaust fan, and then 1 down here if you remove this cage again. So overall, good case. Please let me know in the comments what you guys think. If you have any questions about this too, I'll try to help answer these as well. But yeah, so we're going to reassemble this one and wrap it up. Alright guys, as always, expect further delays. I paused in the middle of doing this video to actually get some different lights because I wanted to try and adjust the settings better. I'm not going to redo the whole video because I want to try and get the content out to you guys, but I'm sure you noticed I looked extremely albino, more so than usual, while reviewing this puppy right here. And that was my ring, which probably just scratched it. Yeah, not that I can see at least, but hey, whatever. So, I got some new lights, so hopefully again, trying to improve content moving forward. And recap, I think for 50 bucks over the, again, I'm comparing this mostly to the DIY PC that I did the build for my wife. I think for 50 bucks, it's well worth the additional 25, maybe dollars. So like I said, if it rounds up to like 55 bucks, I think it's worth it. You get a mid-tower case that's got plenty of room in it. It does have water cooling support. Yes, it's not the most rugged, so if you're using it for a LAN party build, it's compact enough. It'll still give you some freedom to be a little creative on the inside. But I wouldn't recommend using this to go to friends' house and things like that. There's a few other options out there that are a little bit more robust build quality for something you're going to be transporting on a regular basis. However, if you're doing a build and you want something that's going to function great, that you can just use at home, and you're not planning on moving it, this is a pretty good buy. This allows you to use, again, full ATX motherboards, all the way down to ITX motherboards, and you can fit full-size graphics cards in here, some radiator support, and yeah, I think for the, again, bang for the buck, this is on par. You're getting great ventilation in this one too. Again, we're going to do some testing and kind of confirm all of this. But even then, if you have to take the filters out of the front and the top to increase that airflow, you've got so much possibility here for this to be a good case for you on a budget. And again, yeah, we're going to do a build on this. It's coming up, so please hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.